A time capsule is a capsule of goods or information sealed as a message to future people. Most are intended to be opened 100 years after their burial. They can contain anything, and with an estimated 15,000 time capsules in the world, some really interesting examples have been discovered. This video was discovered inside a time capsule buried at a mental hospital. It was filmed and buried by doctors as a message to future psychiatrists. When the hospital was being demolished in the 1990s, the capsule was discovered. Buried in 1958, it shows two doctors speculating on the future of mental health treatment.
Today marks the cornerstone laying ceremony of the Bar Treatment Center. This is a building that we have been working on for 2 years. It's a building which we have spent much time in attempting to foresee in the future the things that are going to be coming up in the way of treatment programs. How well do you think we've solved our problem for the future?
At this point, the audio cuts out and we're left wondering what their predictions were. The audio briefly comes back, and we hear them questioning if insulin shock will ever be used again.
For instance, we may someday, and only the people that open this time capsule will be able to say, we may go back to insulin shock.
He's referring to insulin shock therapy, a treatment by which patients would deliberately be put into a coma. This time capsule was buried on the grounds of MIT in 1957 and accidentally rediscovered recently. It was buried with the intention of only being opened in the year 2957, 1,000 years later. Because it's encased in glass cylinders, it will easily survive for 1,000 years. Inside it is a letter detailing the state of science and technology in 1957, and some small scientific instruments of the day. But for some ungodly reason, MIT decided to ignore the intention and open the capsule. They opened it over 900 years early, and that's just rude. Not long ago, a Los Angeles city historian was going through local newspaper archives. He discovered the story of a time capsule built into a bridge in Burbank. Buried in 1959, it was set to be opened in 2009. Opening the time capsule, he found photographs of the city in 1959 and some written predictions of the future state of Los Angeles. They predicted an end to overhead wires with the use of atomic power instead. Paul Revere was an early American industrialist. Samuel Adams was a founding father. Together, they buried a time capsule in a cornerstone at the Massachusetts State House. They did this in 1795, making it the United States' oldest time capsule. It was finally opened in 2015, 220 years later. Inside it were newspapers and rare coins, as well as a medal depicting George Washington. While investigating an artillery shell, a group of people discovered a time capsule. It's unknown when the capsule was set. It contained objects from both the early and late 20th century. 1985 is a fair assumption. They also found a note inside that said, "Thank you for the brandy." They assumed someone previously discovered the capsule and took a bottle of brandy left inside it. The other objects included old magazines and a lighter from World War I. The capsule may have originally been left in the 1930s, discovered in 1985 and given new objects from that time. The Westinghouse Electric Company has set 2 time capsules for the future. The first was set in 1939 and the second in 1964. Both are to be opened in the year 6939. That will be 5,000 years after the first capsule was set. Possibly being the most ambitious time capsule project, they contain more than 100 objects which show the achievement of human civilization. It contains messages to the future from great minds like Albert Einstein. It also contains products of the past like Dr. West tooth powder. We can only imagine what future generations will think of that. At Boston's Old State House, there is a golden lion statue. It's long been rumored that the statue contains a secret time capsule, but it was only in 2014 that authorities decided to look inside. A newspaper article mentioned a time capsule inside it back in 1901, and sure enough, a 113-year-old time capsule was found inside. A copper box was found inside, and inside that was a small red book, but no one knows what's inside the book as it's too fragile to be opened. A new capsule was put inside the lion before it was resealed. Last year, a masonry crew accidentally discovered a time capsule in the side of a building. It was during a restoration in Canada's Almonte town. 2 metal boxes were found inside the wall. It contained newspaper clippings from 1880, photographs of the town's founder, and some coins from 1858. According to a note also in the capsule, the coins were found in an earlier time capsule. In 1934, Nazi officials buried a time capsule in Poland. That capsule was recently unearthed, 82 years after its burial. It was found to contain Nazi propaganda, well-preserved portraits of Hitler, and copies of Mein Kampf. They also found coins, letters, and newspapers from the period. Historians had always known it was there, but they believed it contained a film recording of the town's 600th anniversary celebration. To their disappointment, no film was found. In the city of Baltimore is a monument to George Washington. Inside that monument was recently discovered a time capsule. A metal box from 1915 was found inside, containing artifacts from 100 years ago, containing newspapers, city journals, and photographs. It was buried to mark the 100-year anniversary of the monument. What historians couldn't have imagined is that the monument contained another capsule. This one was from 1815. It was inside the cornerstone of the monument, containing copies of the Declaration of Independence in glass jars. It just shows time capsules can be hidden inside any old monument. So that's the end of this video. If you want to support this channel, you can do so simply by leaving a like. And if you want more content from me, I have a second channel all about politics.